Paige Bueckers has found herself in some serious drama this morning. Guys, for this one here,
Paige Bueckers just shoved Kelsey Plum, and the refs acted like nothing even happened. No foul, no whistle, not a single call, just complete silence. And here's why fans are heated. If almost anyone else in the league does that, it's an automatic technical. So why does Paige seem to get the special treatment? Was that really fair officiating or a total miss? Drop your take in the comments.
So lads, today we have to talk about this absolute nonsense because two reasons. One, the referees, how did they manage to screw up this badly with this? And two, we have seen this cause think pieces in the past with other players, so we're having the exact same conversation, but we're going from it from a different perspective. It is so dumb. It's so dumb that I have to talk about this, but it was also dumb last year when Caitlin Clark would flail. When she would flail, not realize what she was doing, hit someone in the face, get rightfully called for a technical foul, and then suddenly there's think pieces saying that she's calling her.
This wasn't just harmless contact or a little bump. Paige drove in for the layup, then turned and barreled straight into Kelsey Plum. Plum hit the hardwood, while Paige didn't even react. She just jogged back on defense like nothing unusual happened, as if it was all part of the plan.
That's basically what she did. She scores, complains to the referee, turns around and rams over an opposing team's player, and just keeps running back on defense. Intentional? Probably not. Did she care? Nope. Because she just kept running back on defense. She sure as hell made it look intentional.
Was it intentional? Maybe not, but the visuals were ugly. When you knock an opponent down and don't even look back, it sends a message, whether that's what you meant or not. And the refs? They swallowed the whistle completely. No foul, not even a warning. That's exactly why fans are upset, because the one thing they ask for is consistency. And consistency is the one thing WNBA officiating never seems to provide.
I'll remember this day. The rookies talking shit is crazy. The rookies are built different here. They don't even carry their loops anymore. What the f is going on?
Let's put this into perspective. We've seen Caitlin Clark whistled for far less. She swats a hand away after getting grabbed, and suddenly she's the villain of the league. Angel Reese brushes someone with an elbow, she's ejected or slapped with a flagrant in seconds. Players like Aaliyah Boston or Shakira Austin, they so much as make hard contact on a drive, and the whistle's automatic. But Paige always seems to get the benefit of the doubt, and this isn't about tearing Paige down. She's ridiculously talented, her footwork is polished, her mid-range is automatic, and she's been hyped since her UConn days for a reason. But when one player gets to operate under a different set of rules than the rest of the league, that's not basketball, that's favoritism. Fans notice it, players notice it, and the frustration keeps boiling over. Now, to be fair, Kelsey Plum isn't some innocent bystander either. She's physical, she's vocal, and she knows how to get under people's skin. That's her game, but none of that justifies what went down here.
I love Paige to death. Do not get me wrong. I think, I think she's a hell of a player and would love to play with her one day. But those refs were giving her every freaking whistle last night. You literally couldn't touch her. And that shit is so annoying to me. And if you're gonna do that, then give it to our guards. Or we know she's a good rookie and she's gonna get some whistles, but to get the treatment she got last night was crazy. Yeah, crazy.
Even if Paige was frustrated, even if she felt some contact first, that doesn't give her the green light to bulldoze another guard without a call. That's a foul at every level of basketball. Middle school, college, the NBA, you name it. So why wasn't it called here? Easy. The superstar whistle. Paige has it. And let's be real, we've seen this before. Michael Jordan got it. LeBron James still gets it. But the difference is, those guys earned that status after years of dominance at the highest level. Paige hasn't proven that in the pros yet, but somehow she's already getting the VIP treatment. That's exactly what frustrates players and fans across the league. Think back to just last year with Caitlin Clark. She swung her arm on a rebound, clipped another player, by accident, and suddenly the internet exploded. Headlines branded her dirty, Twitter wars broke out, and some people were even calling for suspensions. Now fast forward, Paige Bueckers does nearly the same thing, except this time she sends Kelsey Plum crashing to the floor. And what happens? Crickets. No outrage, no debates, just silence. Same league, same referees, same fan base, completely different reaction. That's hypocrisy in its purest form. And let's be real, Paige didn't even hide it well. If it was truly accidental, she could have glanced back, muttered a quick "my bad," or offered Plum a hand. But instead, she stared straight through her and jogged back like nothing happened. That's why people believe it was intentional. Whether it actually was or not almost doesn't matter. Perception does. And right now, the perception is that Paige Bueckers gets away with things that would have Caitlin Clark trending worldwide with hashtags like "ban her from the league." Now imagine Angel Reese in that exact situation. She finishes a bucket, shoves Plum to the hardwood, and walks away. Do you really think the whistle stays quiet? No chance. Angel would have been slapped with a flagrant before Plum even got up. Same goes for Aaliyah Boston, Shakira Austin, or half the league. But Paige gets the royal treatment. And here's where it gets worse. The Paige fan base. These are the same people who lose their minds and scream dirty whenever Clark or Reese plays physical. But suddenly, when Paige does it, it's all just incidental contact. Spare me. If we're going to demand consistency, then let's actually be consistent. Either physical plays are fouls for everyone, or they're fouls for no one. Pick a lane. And here's the part that really stings. It's not even about punishing Paige. Nobody's saying suspend her or throw her out. Fans just want the foul call. Blow the whistle, reset the play, move on. That's how you keep control of the game. But when refs ignore it, they don't just feed the narrative that Paige is protected. They put every player at risk. Because guess what? Players notice. Next time someone's going to retaliate, and when that happens, the chaos is on the officials for refusing to do their job in the first place. And let's talk about this so-called special whistle Paige seems to have. Watch her closely and you'll spot a pattern. She drives, slows down on purpose to bait contact, tosses up a wild shot, and boom, free throws. In fact, in this very game, there was a sequence where she got fouled on the dribble, took 2 more steps, hop-stepped with nobody near her, threw the ball at the rim, and still got to the line. That's not continuation, that's a gift. At one point, she literally had more free throws than field goal attempts. Think about that. When a player's living at the line more than actually shooting from the field, that's not toughness, that's manipulation, and the refs are rewarding it. Now stack that against Caitlin Clark, who takes contact every possession and can't buy a call, or Angel Reese, who gets tagged as too physical the second she bodies up in the paint. The contrast couldn't be clearer. The double standard here is almost comical. This isn't just about one shove, it highlights a much bigger issue. Wnba officiating is broken. When referees can't stay consistent, fans lose trust. That's why these moments spark outrage online, why clips explode on social media, and why debates outlast the games themselves. It's not just about Paige bumping Kelsey Plum, it's about a system that bends depending on which jersey you wear. Paige might benefit now, but long term, this hurts the league's credibility. And the shove, that was only half the story. The real storm came afterward, on Twitter, TikTok, and every basketball forum you can think of. Within minutes, the video was everywhere. Half the fans called it a dirty play. The other half, they bent over backwards to defend her. Some even claim Plum flopped to make it look worse. Come on, Kelsey Plum's been in this league too long to sell contact. She doesn't need to flop. She got knocked down, plain and simple. But because Paige carries that golden girl reputation, her fans will twist reality to protect it. This isn't new either. Back in her UConn days, Paige could miss 10 shots straight, but all anyone ever talked about was the one flashy crossover. The hype machine never slowed down. Now compare that to Caitlin Clark. Caitlin so much as wipes her jersey the wrong way, and suddenly she's arrogant, disrespectful, or worse. Remember when she flicked an arm after getting hacked last season? It turned into headlines branding her dirty, opponents taking cheap shots, and even her teammates dragged into the chaos. Same kind of accidental contact, completely different reaction. Why? Because every move Caitlin makes gets magnified, while Paige gets the "oh, she didn't mean it" treatment. And it's not just Caitlin. Angel Reese felt this too. She once caught an opponent with an elbow fighting for position, and you'd think she committed a crime the way commentators reacted. Calls for fines, suspensions, bans, you name it. Angel never gets the benefit of the doubt, but Paige, she shoves a veteran like Plum to the floor and somehow still gets a pass. The hypocrisy writes itself, And here's the part people overlook. This double standard has consequences. Players notice. Locker rooms notice. Do you think Kelsey Plum is just going to brush this off? Absolutely not. She's been around long enough to know when she's disrespected, and she's not the type to stay quiet. If you don't think she's filing this away for the next matchup, you're not paying attention. And that's where it gets dangerous. Because when referees refuse to draw the line, players end up enforcing it themselves. And remember, this wasn't some throwaway preseason game. This was late season basketball. Every possession mattered. The pressure was sky high and tensions were already boiling. That's what makes the ref's silence even harder to defend. The wings are already eliminated. The aces are fighting for seeding and emotions are sky high. That's the absolute worst time for referees to swallow the whistle. Because when obvious fouls get ignored, all you're really doing is inviting chaos. One retaliation, one shove that escalates, and suddenly you've got a viral fight clip for all the wrong reasons. Now, let's actually talk about Paige Bueckers' game beyond that shove. On paper, she had a solid night. 18 points, 7 assists, 6 boards. Respectable numbers, but dig deeper and the flaws stand out. She leaned heavily on free throws, just like she has all season. Her fan base calls it craftiness. Let's be real, it's foul baiting. She drives, slows up, forces contact, and walks to the line. That's her formula. Meanwhile, Kelsey Plum, who struggled with just 12 points, was actually trying to hoop straight up. No foul baiting, no begging the refs for whistles, just competing. And yet, she's the one who got bulldozed and ignored. Flip the script for a second. If Plum had run through Paige, every whistle in the arena would have blown at once. That's the issue. It's not about one play, it's about the double standard, and Paige's body language made it worse. She hit the layup, immediately glanced back at the ref, and walked right through Plum without even slowing down. That wasn't an oops, didn't see her. That was a doesn't matter who's in front of me. Even if it wasn't malicious, it was careless. And careless still deserves a whistle. Intention doesn't erase impact. You knock someone over, that's a foul. Basketball 101. But apparently when Paige is involved, those rules vanish. Now let's zoom out. The Wnba is desperate to market stars, and Paige Bueckers is tailor-made for that role. UCNN royalty, social media favorite, a highlight machine for promos. Of course the league wants her front and center, but when protecting the brand starts crossing into favoritism on the court, you've got a problem, because you can't sacrifice integrity just to keep one player untouchable. And the truth is, fans see it, players see it. That's why resentment is bubbling. We've already got rival fan bases clashing. Clark fans versus Paige fans, Reese fans versus everybody. Boston fans speaking up when their star gets overlooked. The league is sitting on a powder keg, and inconsistent officiating is the spark waiting to set it all off. Moments like that shove only pour gasoline on the fire. And the wild part? Paige didn't even need to do it. She's skilled enough to beat anyone head to head. But instead of relying on her talent, she made a reckless decision that now overshadows everything else she did on the floor. And when the refs swallowed the whistle, they didn't just ignore it. They effectively stamped it with approval. That's why the backlash is this loud. Not because Paige is some kind of villain, but because the league refuses to hold her accountable. Let's flip the script for a second. Imagine Caitlin Clark made that exact same shove. What happens? At minimum, a technical, maybe a flagrant, maybe even an ejection. And by the next morning, ESPN is running full blown. Is Caitlin out of control? Debates while half the internet calls for punishment. The contrast is staggering. And don't think players like Caitlin or Angel Reese aren't paying attention. They see it, they live it, and it only deepens the tension. Now Paige's defenders love to say she's a rookie. Cut her some slack. Sorry, but no. Caitlin Clark's just in her second year, and she gets hammered nightly without a break. Angel Reese is also in year 2 and already wears the villain tag for playing physical. If Paige wants to be treated like one of the league's stars, she has to face the same standards. No exceptions. This whole incident should be a wake-up call, not just for Paige, but for the WNBA. If you want credibility, you can't play favorites. You can't let one guard bulldoze an opponent and act like nothing happened, while crucifying another for the same play. That's not just unfair, it's embarrassing. And here's the real kicker for Paige. The regret isn't just about the shove, it's about what comes next. Because from here on out, every bit of contact she makes will be under a microscope. Every bump, every nudge, every foul baiting move. move. People are watching now. She may have gotten away with this one, but the spotlight isn't going anywhere. At the end of the day, basketball isn't complicated. Rules are rules. A shove is a foul. The officials didn't call it, and that's the whole reason we're here. Nobody's saying suspend Paige for a year. Fans just wanted consistency, and once again, the league failed to deliver. So here's the question. Was Paige simply careless, or did her name buy her a pass? Either way, the refs blew it, and the double standard couldn't be clearer. Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear where you stand. And of course, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss one of these breakdowns.